Guys, just give me 1 minute, please. Just trying to figure out something. हेलो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि वो कहाँ है स्ट्रीम है ऑन ओके ओके very good evening to all of you. Sorry, I just was a little stuck in trying to figure out a couple of details. But in the meanwhile, I'm sure all of you are already aware of some of the complicated things that are happening in Maharashtra. Well, I mean, things have already happened and have pretty much gone the distance in the last few days. Hi, Udit, Hasika, Kiran. Very good evening to all of you. In terms of the important developments that have happened, it pretty much looks like a major battle between Shiv Sena and the Shiv Sena, right? I was reading something very interesting few days back where somebody had sent me something on WhatsApp, and it said there was a government of Shiv Sena, and now the Shiv Sena has replaced the Shiv Sena, and it is the Shiv Sena which has gone to court challenging that the government of Shiv Sena is not valid, right? And of course, we have people are calling it Udhav Sena and Eknath Shinde Sena or whatever it is. But what we need to do is just I want to take a look at the important legal aspects of what the anti-defection law is. We've already had quite a bit of discussion on the anti-defection law, but I wanted to take this opportunity to bring out some of the legal backgrounds, particularly in the context of the defection law. Right. So let's jump right into it. Himang, Himanshu, Gargi, Sindhuja, Ariba, very good to see you guys. Belated Eid Mubarak to all the Muslim students in the class. Now, what's the background? The background is that the anti-defection law was basically introduced by the 52nd Amendment, 52nd Constitutional Amendment के through ultimately ये जो law है वो आया था. Of course, one of the most extreme and one of the most famous examples that any of you will see about anti-defection law, जो बाद में 91st Amendment भी amend किया गया के through भी हुआ, and it was of course the addition of the 10th schedule. Ultimately defection law जो है वो 10th schedule of the constitution में ही दिया हुआ है. So we'll go into those details, but there was an MLA from Haryana called Gaya Lal. सबने सुना ही होगा इसके बारे में. I think very famous story, at least in Indian politics, right? Hello Shambhavi, how are you? And वहीं से वो कहावत भी शुरू हो गई थी, आया राम गया राम, है ना? आया राम, Gaya Lal from Haryana basically had changed 3 political parties in one day. एक दिन में ही 3 political parties change हो गया था, and ये सब भी 60s में ही हो रहा था. So in 1967, right? In 1967, a committee was formed under the chairmanship of Y.B. Chavan, right? Very famous leader from Maharashtra. And this committee basically submitted a report. So all of you, I hope, are sitting with a pen and paper, क्योंकि इसमें से कुछ चीजें आप लोगों को लिखना भी है, राइट? लिखना भी है, सिर्फ ऐसे याद नहीं रखेगा या YouTube वीडियो ही हर बार रेफर करेंगे, इस टाइप का प्लान नहीं होना चाहिए. Please make a note of some of these things as well, right? Now, when you're making a note, you'll see. So, YB Chavan Committee submitted its report in 1968, which basically led to the first attempt to ultimately submit an anti-defection bill in the parliament, right? अब इस anti-defection bill में क्या-क्या चीजें ultimately दी गई थी? It laid down the whole foundation of the defection law, which did not come very quickly. 1968 के बाद ultimately 1985, right? Ultimately the defection law came into effect in 1985 through through the 52nd constitutional amendment, right? 52nd constitutional amendment, जैसा कि मैं आपको दिखा रहा था यहाँ पे, it was introduced. And 91st amendment में again there is something important that I think I've somehow missed to write it down. But this amendment was proposed by a committee led by Pranab Mukherjee. Okay, the former president of India. Of course, that time Pranabji was not the president of India, but ultimately, of course, all of you know subsequently that he became the president as well. Right? Okay, Lion Hogwarts. How can the report be used as a bill? No, the report was not used as a bill. I'm saying the report was used as the foundation, right? The recommendations were ultimately incorporated within the bill. That's the idea. वो अपने आप वही bill तो नहीं बन गया obviously. उसके basis पर ultimately bill बना, but the bill was ultimately finally passed much later in 1985, not any time before that, right? So long time बीतने के बाद जाके वो bill ultimately pass किया गया था. Anyway, 10th schedule was added. अब ये जो defection law है, what are the various grounds for the defection actually? What's the logic? Basically, there are two very important grounds. The first thing is when any member मतलब member of the house, legislative assembly हो या legislative council हो या लोक सभा हो, राज्य सभा हो, whatever it is, when an elected member, basically nominated members के लिए भी अलग से है, but हम main focus जो है वो elected members पे ही होता है. When a member votes or abstains from any crucial voting contrary to the directive circulated by his or her respective political party, then you can be disqualified, right? Then you can be disqualified. Now what that means is if you're contesting from a particular party और ट्रस्ट वोट टाइप की कोई चीज है या कुछ और टाइप की चीज है, इन टाइप की सिचुएशंस में यू हैव टू एंश्योर कि आप एब्सटेन भी नहीं कर सकते, यू ऑल्सो कैनॉट रिमेन एब्सेंट. और ये जो डायरेक्टिव की बात हो रही है, दिस डायरेक्टिव इज व्हाट, दिस इज बेसिकली व्हाट इज नोन एज अ पार्टी व्हिप, राइट? पार्टी क्या करती है? व्हिप इश्यू करती है. दिस इज डायरेक्टिव का मैं ब्रैकेट में लिख देता हूं. दिस इज अ what is known as a whip, right? A whip मतलब क्या? चाबुक. चाबुक obviously चाबुक सच में हंटर से मारेंगे और ये सब नहीं होगा, right? But if the whip is issued by a particular political party, you have to vote in accordance with the whip. ये नहीं कि important vote था उसमें आप पैसे लेके जो है अपने हिसाब से वोट करें. The other possibility is if any member after being elected as a representative of a certain political party shall be disqualified from the house, right? आपका कैंडिडेचर ही डायरेक्टली कैंसिल कर दिया जाता है. कैंडिडेचर अब कब कैंसिल हो सकता है? If you join any other political party after the election. Of course, if this happens because of a merger, if this happens without merger, right? पार्टी का ही मर्जर हो गया है, सब लोग ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, तो आप ज्वाइन करने से मना भी नहीं कर सकते, राइट? But if only you are deciding to unilaterally go and join a particular political party, if you are deciding to leave the party जिसके टिकट से आप election ultimately लड़े हैं, then that kind of leaving the party and joining another political party वो allowed definitely नहीं है, and that will ultimately lead to a disqualification as well, right? Now after the 91st amendment, इनिशियली जब लॉ आया था, इन दिस लॉ what the parliament had proposed is more than 1/3 defection would not lead to any disqualification, right? अगर मोर देन 1/3 का डिफेक्शन हो रहा है, इनिशियल लॉ जो 1985 में आया था, राइट? दैट लॉ सेड इफ द डिफेक्शन इज मोर देन 1/3, then there will be no disqualification. but 1/3 is still not majority of a particular political party, right? 1/3 is still not majority in a particular political party. So what the 91st amendment, जिसमें Pranab Mukherjee had played a very very important role, what the 91st amendment said is, 91st amendment में this requirement, right, exemption जो था कि 1/3 से ज्यादा डिफेक्शन होगा तो कोई डिस्क्वालीफाई नहीं होगा, दैट एग्जेम्पशन वाज चेंज टू 2/3 of the membership. So if 2/3 members of a particular party, if 2/3 members of a particular party are going defecting and kind of voting somewhere else, तो फिर कोई डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं माना जाएगा, right? But it has to be more than 2/3. So the current law, if you look at what is the situation today, today के law के हिसाब से 2/3 का ही डिफेक्शन चाहिए, right? Today के law के हिसाब से 2/3 का ही डिफेक्शन चाहिए, it cannot be 1/3. Is that clear, guys? Everybody is following this? Some of these important names जो आप लोग लिखे होंगे, I assume. YB चवन कमेटी 1967 में बनी थी, 68 में उन्होंने अपना रिपोर्ट सबमिट किया था. We have the Pranab Mukherjee led committee which recommended the 91st amendment. The original law was of course the 52nd amendment में आया था. और ये आपको एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ अगर ढूंढना हो तो आपको कहां पे मिलेगा? 10th schedule of the Constitution of India. So this is when I say 52nd amendment or 91st amendment, these are all, please remember, these are all constitutional amendments, right? So for example, एक बहुत ही popular law था जिसमें everybody thought this is an amendment to the Constitution, which was the Citizenship Amendment Act. सबने ये वाला लॉ भी तो सुना ही है ना, सीएए जो प्रोटेस्ट हुआ था, वो वहां पर बॉर्डर पे बंद है सिंगू बॉर्डर, ये प्रोटेस्ट वो प्रोटेस्ट सब कुछ चला था, शाहीन बाग में ऐसा होगा वैसा होगा. सीएए में बहुत पॉपुलर कंफ्यूजन है, लोगों को लगता है, राइट, पीपल थिंक द सीएए वाज अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट, बट सीएए वाज नॉट अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट. सीएए वाज अमेंडमेंट टू द इंडियन सिटीजनशिप एक्ट. सिटीजनशिप एक्ट एक अलग से है इंडिया में, 1955 का लॉ है. सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट वाज एन अमेंडमेंट ऑफ दिस लॉ, राइट? बट दिस 52nd amendment and the 91st amendment जो आप देख रहे हैं, these are constitutional amendments, right? These are both constitutional amendments, and anti-defection law भी directly constitution में ही दिया हुआ है in the 10th schedule of the Constitution. So these are very very important legal GK के हिसाब से I think something that all of you guys should definitely remember. कमिटी के नाम और ये सब तो याद रखना ही चाहिए. एंड ऑफ कोर्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ग्राउंड्स जिस पे अल्टीमेटली डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन होता है, दैट डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन इज बेसिकली इफ यू हैव नॉट वोटेड इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द व्हिप, या अगर आप किसी और पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को ज्वाइन कर लेंगे. तो महाराष्ट्र में क्या हुआ है? महाराष्ट्र में सेकेंड वन ऑफ कोर्स इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल, राइट? सेकेंड वाला तो एप्लीकेबल है ही नहीं, बिकॉज एकनाथ शिंदे एंड टीम हैव आल्सो नॉट जॉइंड एनी अदर पार्टी. दे आर डेफिनेटली विद द शिव सेना, राइट? नाउ ऑफ कोर्स हियर यू हैव टू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन व्हाट इज पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, ये जो फ्रेज आप देख रहे हैं पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, एंड एक और फ्रेज आप सुनेंगे दैट इज लेजिस्लेटिव पार्टी. अब लेजिस्लेटिव पार्टी इज बेसिकली ओनली द मेंबर्स दैट आर इलेक्टेड, right? जो members elect हुए हैं, they are the only members in the legislative party. And very interestingly, the leader of the legislative party was always Eknath Shinde. Even when Uddhav Thackeray was chief minister, तो भी शिवसेना का जो legislative party अलग से बना था, उसका भी एक लीडर अपॉइंट किया जाता है, राइट? और उसका जो लीडर अपॉइंट किया गया था, legislative party का लीडर was already Eknath Shinde, right? So now of course the critical issue becomes कि भाई अब जब आगे जाके अभी अगर लोकसभा का इलेक्शन आ रहा है in 2024, तो शिवसेना का पार्टी सिंबल किस बेसिस पे दिया जाएगा, who will ultimately run the शिवसेना, बिकॉज वो तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का भी इशू है, इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के गाइडलाइंस है, बट वो डिस्कशन अभी थोड़ा प्री मेच्योर है. We will do all of those discussions with the passage of time, and I will make sure that I bring all of those important legal issues right into your smartphones through the Clat Possible channel here on YouTube. No, does CA does not come into Constitution Act? No, 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 no. Hogwarts, my friend. CAA does not come within the Constitution. Sankalp, but Udhav dismissed Eknath, right? सो अब वो वही तो संघर्ष चल रहा है. वो डिसमिस करेंगे भी तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी से करेंगे ना, वो छोड़ के गया नहीं है. दैट्स नंबर वन. And he is already an elected member, so that's the second thing. So even if he is removed from the political party, he will still remain as the leader of the legislative party, and most importantly he has more than two-third of the numbers. So disqualify होने का भी कोई सवाल एक्चुअली उसमें काइंड ऑफ बच नहीं रहा है क्योंकि डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन का भी स्कोप यहाँ पर मामला खत्म है टाइप का सीन है. राइट, सो दैट्स जस्ट अ वेरी वेरी क्विक and a very small introduction to the anti-defection law in India. I am sure all of you are following the Uddhav Thackeray story as well as the Eknath Shinde story. And I think अगले इलेक्शन से पहले तो डेफिनेटली पार्टी सिंबल वाला, जब आप लोग सब ऑलरेडी लॉ स्कूल में होंगे and top most law schools में होंगे, right? Some of you will be in NLS and NALSAR and NUJs, तो वहां पर जब ये इशू आएगा तो देव सर ने क्या क्या बताया था थोड़ा याद करना. इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया में जब चर्चा होगी कि सिंबल किसको देना है किसको नहीं देना है, do remember this discussion, and I'll try to bring it if it happens sooner. Let's say if there is a municipal election or something in Maharashtra, तो भी party symbol का issue definitely will come to the forefront, and we will take a very very quick look at all of those things. In the meanwhile, guys, thank you very very much. Have a lovely evening, and I'm traveling to Patna tomorrow, so I'll see you guys next week on YouTube, and of course those of you who are already enrolled in our online or offline batches, I'll see you guys in class. Thank you very much. Have a great night, guys. Bye bye.